Andrew, first off, you're coming up against a familiar face in Ross. Have you guys spoken since you've become coach, or even this week? And what's that going to be like, I suppose?
Yeah, look, we haven't spoken this week, but I've definitely spoken to Ross since I got the job. A long-standing relationship with him, a lot of respect for him. Terrific coach, and he's a great mentor for me. I actually coached against him when I was interim at Richmond, and he got the chocolates that day, so we're pretty keen to rectify that.
You obviously know what's coming with Ross, the way he strategises. Obviously, it's evolved since you were playing under him, but does that sort of give you an idea of what to expect this weekend?
Yeah, it does. Like, I think if you watch the Saints this year, they're fiercely competitive. They work really hard. They're a hard-running team, and they build their game the right way. So we know it's going to be a big challenge.
There's a bit of talk this week around, Oscar Allen, the potential leaving, and then the potential of do you sit him out for the rest of the season to protect that. He was on radio this morning and basically said, "There's no way I'm doing that. I'm here to play footy." What were your thoughts on that commentary?
Yeah, I just think the same as Oscar. Like, it's just not even a thought we've entertained. He's our captain. He helps us win games of football, and we're going to roll him out, and he'll help us every week.
Will you roll him out forward or down back, considering your back line actually was really solid at the weekend?
Yeah, it's one of those discussions we're having every week with Oz, and we'll just keep having those discussions and put him in the place where he helps our team the most. So we haven't decided yet for this week, and we'll get through training today and see where it lands. Yeah, Archie's just played, for a young fella, he's played 9 games in a row as a key forward ruck, really demanding position. So he's been super competitive for us. Some of the contests he puts himself in, I know he's not getting a lot of numbers statistically, but he's an incredible contest player, and we're wrapped with what he's doing. So he'll train today, and we'll make a call on him after training.
Just back on Oscar, you said it was his good knee. How's it pulled up, and is he a lock for this weekend?
Yeah, Oscar's in good shape. He's going to train today. He was really close to playing last week, so he'll get through training today and be right for selection.
And how's he been handling all of the commentary around him? It seems like a weekly thing almost now.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I think he came out publicly a couple of weeks ago and said the challenges with it and that he had. But yeah, he's in a really good space. We're supporting him really strongly, and he's leading our club.
What have you made of his leadership abilities to not only be coaching with his staff but still be leading the club as well?
He's been terrific. Yeah, it's been a challenging period of time for him, and he's had some support from us and some external people, and he's in a really good space. He was really strong in our meetings this week, and can't wait for the rest of the year with him.
I know we addressed this on Sunday briefly, but Jeremy McGovern ruled out again with that concussion. How's he going, and do we expect to see him? My understanding is almost a lot to play next weekend if he keeps going this way. Yeah, so he's just unfortunately didn't get up through the protocols this week, but looking to progress next week, and it's one of those things you can't forecast too much with, so we'll just wait and see where it lands. Callum Jamison, unfortunately, just keeps picking up injuries. How has he tracking it, I suppose, personally and then with his body?
Yeah, it's a shame for Jamo. He played, I think, 2 games back in the Waffle program after a really challenging break. He's just hurt his hamstring a little bit, so he'll miss a couple of weeks of football, but he's a really positive guy. It's never ideal to spend a large period of time in the rehab program, but unfortunately he's been there for a bit, so he understands what it's about, and he'll get to work and hopefully get himself right to play the second half of the year.
You came really close last week. What do you need to do to beat the Saints? Just those minor tweaks?
Yeah, it's like, from a macro point of view, our game is improving considerably and we're doing a lot right, but everyone's judging us on the win-loss column at the moment, which is understandable, and it's what we're trying to do as well. But we're just trying to build our game the right way, really focusing hard on our defence and trying to get the ball to live in the front half. And we're getting learnings every single week, and we had some terrific meetings this week on some areas we can improve. So we'll just look to put those into place this week and keep improving our game.
How do you keep the belief in such a young group when those wins and losses aren't coming through? How do you kind of keep them, give them a pat on the back and say, guys, it is getting better?
Yeah, it's a really good question because we're all satisfied by the win and singing the song, so that's real. But it's about just finding the evidence of where our game's improving, continually to show it, back it up with some data and evidence, and then understanding too we're not where we want to be. So we've still clearly got work to do, and lots of parts of our games aren't where they need to be. But it then comes down to the leaders being really strong and embracing that, and our leaders have been outstanding in the last month and in driving our game and our standards, and they're doing a great job.
With Tim Kelly's role last week, how did he enjoy that, and do you think that's something going forward that you're looking to do?
Yeah, he did really enjoy the role, a bit different for him, playing more forward, but we think it's something that he can really add to his game. When he played his footy at Geelong, it's predominantly where he played. And we know he can play midfield and be a really good midfielder as well. But spoken about it a few times, just trying to find the balance of our team. And he gave us a different look ahead of the ball, and I thought he really helped us score.
Come across, obviously had a big week. I know, that moment and a bit of online stuff, but how much were you promised by him? I know the frustration there when he got tackled, but how much were you, I suppose, excited by the fact that he wanted to take the game on and try and win the game for, the fourth game? I
wasn't too frustrated, was I, when he got tackled? I think maybe just a tad. Belly got a bit scared sitting next to me, I think. I was every time Grossi steps out to training or a game, he impresses me immensely. He goes about his footy the right way. He's tough. He's a hard worker. He doesn't shy away from anything, and you saw that coming in the game. Like he wanted to take the game on. I think Luke Shuey sent him a highlights tape of him getting run down early on in his career, and it happens to lots of good players. So that part of Grossi, his mindset is terrific. He'll train really strongly again today, and we know he'll be a really great player for us for a long period of time.
Is it one of those ones that you're going to, hopefully in 3 years' time, say to him, like, that was one moment, but look what you're doing now?
Yeah, that's right. Honestly, I don't think it'll be 3 years' time. I think it'll be in a shorter time frame than that. I don't want to put too much pressure on the young fella, but he's just going about his footy the right way. So he's still got some things as all 18-year-olds do that they need to improve, but we love what Grossi brings.
There's a lot of fans out there that would love to see him injected from the outset this week. What are your thoughts on that sense rather than the sub role? Yeah,
look, the sub role's tricky. Like, I'd rather not have the sub at all and just be able to play him, but it's there, and we're still trying to work out the balance of our team. I think I've spoken about how hard it is to play full midfield minutes for an 18-year-old. It's a really challenging thing at AFL level. So we'll get the balance of our team right and see where that ends up.
How did you find them mix between Brockman and Ryan through there? I thought watching live, it kind of complemented Jack Graham's inside aggression really well.
Yeah, so they're just so dynamic, those two guys, and they're clean. They gave us a real point of difference around the ball. So it's something we're going to continue to explore for sure.
You're not a high possession team, so when you look at those sort of statistics, how do you sort of reflect on them though? He only had 17 touches, I think, Liam Ryan, but the impact was a lot bigger than suggested.
Yeah, it's I've spoken to our players about this a little bit. Our style lends itself to a little bit less possession. There's Campbell Chesser running around smiling at us over there. Work, Chess! Yeah. A couple of weeks away, which is great news. He's had a tough journey, so can't wait to see him back. I'll get back to your question. So we are a low possession team. We're telling our mids that that's the case. We're telling our players, but we also need to balance it out a little bit. Like, we're not going to judge our players on possessions. I think Liam Ryan, he could be the best player on the ground with 15 possessions. That's the impact he can have. So it is an ongoing discussion because as players, you're fueled by the ball. That's normal. So we're trying to get our guys to value that, but also what they're doing without the ball as well.
So what did they do then that helped you equalise the clearances of the weekend for the first time this year?
I just think a bit of their dynamic movement, their ability to strike on the ball. They were clean, and they weren't in there every time. I think you saw Hoffy and Harley have some real moments around there as well, and some predictability, which helped.
What did you think of going in with 2 rucks? Do you think that's something that works well for you?
Yeah, so I think it's, to be clear, we picked Bailey as a forward and second ruck. Like, we know how much Bailey's rucked over the years, and he's a really good ruckman. But it's not that we just picked 2 rucks and they're not capable of playing forward. We think both of those guys can play forward. You saw Bailey hit the scoreboard, I think, a couple of times last week. Flinny's kicked quite a few goals, both at AFL and Waffle this year. So, it's going to be something we just keep exploring and finding who's in the best form and who complements each other the best.
Funnily enough, Bailey's always said that he's more of a forward. Anyway, he's played most of his career as a ruck, so for him, is it a bit refreshing to spend more time with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think he loves rucking as well, and there'll be times where he needs to do that. But if he can keep expanding his game, and which we've seen this year, that's a great thing for us.
Last one for me, mid-season draft around the corner, and obviously having a few loose meetings and that. Have you decided what area of the ground you're looking at? Yeah,
it's not specifically. We're just going to try and target the best player available in the draft. I think you've seen some great success. We've had some great success as a football club from doing that with Hutch and Ryan Marrick in particular. So that'll be what we go for.
Sir Doug Nicholls round this weekend. It's quite a special occasion, and to do it at home as well. Yeah,
it is. It's a really special occasion. We'll get to represent our First Nations players, and we get to wear the jumper at training on Tuesday. So we've got spent a bit of time yesterday talking about it, and we will over the next couple of days, how much those guys mean to us and their communities and their people.
With Harry Edwards, I guess a lot of people thought that this year would be his year where he really steps up, and I guess he's been in and out of the side. Made inclusion last week. Where do you see in that? What areas does he need to improve on, and going forward, where do you see that?
Yeah, so I think Harry played one of his better games of the year last week. We're working with Harry about the way we want our key backs to play. He's a really determined guy, and we're confident he'll be a key defender for us for a long period of time.